Hi, welcome to another episode of the Paige Doodle Club. I'm Mike Paige, and today we will be drawing a goat. So I had a friend ask me recently if I could do a goat on this series, and since Tom Brady is not on the Patriots anymore, I'm guessing he actually meant a goat. So I'm going to start with, this is almost a letter S that's been sort of redefined, but if you start with a diagonal line down that's similar to an S shape, you'll get the right idea. This is going to be his forehead, and then his nose will be down here. Next, I'm going to make a nostril, something kind of like that. And next, I'm going to make basically a letter U. And this U is going to be stretched out a little bit funny. But if you think of it kind of like a letter U, it'll be nice and easy for you. Then I'm going to make the start of another letter U. And then I'm going to stretch this way out here for his jawline. And then I'll come up for the back of the jaw. Next, our goat is going to need some scruff, so I'm going to make some long hairs hanging down here. Something kind of like that. They can be a little bit scribbly. They can be 2 or 3 long strands if you want, however you want to make it. Next, I'm going to give our goat an eye back here. So we start with the upper eyelid. Then I'm going to make a very circular U shape. And at the front part of the eyelid here, I'm going to come across a bit to start the bottom eyelid. And unlike drawing a human, if you're drawing a goat, you've basically already done the lower eyelid. Their eyeball basically is the shape of the lower eyelid. And next I'm going to give it a pupil. Goats have square pupils, or rectangular. So when you fill in your goat's pupil, make sure it's not nice and round. Next, I'm going to make the top of the brow line, or the top of the forehead. And then I'll give him an ear that's basically an upside down V, almost. And his other ear I will make sticking out this way. And for this one, I'm going to make the inside of the ear like that. Sort of a wishbone shape, and you just kind of kick the pen out. And on this side, same thing like that. And next we'll make some horns here. So here's horn number 1. This is the one that's closer to you. And the second horn we'll put just behind it, like that. I'm going to leave it as is. If you wanted to have a tiny little point poking out here, you could, but I'm not going to make that. Next we'll start a line down for his neck, or her neck, and another line down here. These lines are basically running parallel to each other. And then this is kind of a letter J stretched way out for a collar on it. I've been getting some feedback. People seem to like when I can relate things to the shape of a letter, so I hope that's helping. I always look for obvious shapes that I already know when I'm doing this. If you see a number 3 in something, or an O, or a C, or a U, definitely makes it a lot easier if you can simplify it to something that's very basic. For the goat's back, it's going to be sort of a dip down and back up. And then we're going to come back down kind of at a sharper angle, like that. And I think I'll jump back to where I want his or her back leg to start. So I'm going to make a mark here so I know where I want it to be. And this will be the back end over here. So this leg is going to be sort of a backwards letter C that's really been smushed, or a closing parenthesis. And it just has a slight, not quite a point, but it's a little angular where the knee will be. Next, I'm going to come down and over, and like that for its hoof. And now I'm actually going to jump to the back of its knee and come up to meet up with the back. And then from the back of its knee, we'll go pretty much straight down to the hoof. Next, I'm going to jump forward to its front leg. So I'll make a line down a little bit further than that. And I'm going to go ahead and make the back side of his leg now, so I have that as reference. And then 2 parallel lines for the lower half of the leg. And then the same hoof shape that we made the first time for this foot. And then I'm going to make a belly here. Goats have pretty curved U-shaped bellies because they eat anything they can get their mouths on. And I might make a few like tufts of hair back there on the back of his knee. And we'll make the front leg here, basically just following the shape of this front leg. And then we'll give it the udder back here. And then its fourth leg back here. And then a line up. And all that's left is a tail, and we're going to just kind of kick the pen out. And then do a couple little scribbles here. And then we'll kick the pen out a couple more times to finish it off. Give it a scruffy little tail. If you'd like to add a bell to the collar, you could add a bell. If you want to put it in a Tom Brady jersey, knock yourself out. I know a bunch of you guys will probably want to add that. I'm going to put a little bit of shading in the ears here. And I might kind of imply this other eye over here. Then the last thing to do is put a horizon line to put our goat in a space. I'm going to make a football laying on the ground. And maybe a slight hint of a hip bone back there. All right, so there is the goat that we drew. I hope you enjoyed following along. Maybe yours is wearing a football jersey. If I was to make the goat as a football player, he'd be wearing a Joe Montana jersey, not Tom Brady, but that's just me. I hope you enjoyed following along. Please tune in tomorrow for another episode of the Paige Doodle Club. Thanks for watching.
All right, kids, now that you've finished your doodles, color them in and then share them with both Mike Paige and Medfield TV. We're going to take those images and we're going to put them all over our station. Can't wait to see what you guys make.